Hello, YouTube, once again. It is I, AudioMac. If you're subscribed to me, great, you already know who I am. If you're not, I have no idea how you stumbled upon this video over my other videos. Usually when I do question videos, I do them by myself, but today I have a very special guest. A quick background, I used to make videos on my own back before I had a lot of experience and resources. I used to just make tsundere stuff, and even the early Your Roommate the Assassin stuff, I voiced both me and Songbird. But after I kinda got used to how things worked, I wondered how things would sound if I got other actors. So I held auditions for the first ever characters that I ever brought into the show, Shell Crab and Good Thief. And the first character that I ever truly casted was Shell Crab. And that is my phone vibrating because I have a message. I'm so professional. Anyway, the first character I ever casted was Shell Crab. And the character that got that role is here with me today. I would like you all to, well, you can't really welcome it because it's not a live stream, but still give a round of applause for our favorite audio mission helper, Shell Crab / Kai. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so Kai is obviously not your real name. Do you want to tell us?
It is.
It is. Okay, well then, why don't you tell us your first name, and then we can keep on first name basis from there.
All right, my name's actually Kyra.
Okay, well, Kyra, I'm going to be calling you Kyra for the rest of the interview, and obviously you know my name. All right, so
I don't.
Oh, really? Well, my name is Abraham.
Okay, nice to meet you.
So why don't you tell us who you are in terms of what do you do outside of voice acting? What do you do for a living?
Oh, I'm a very exciting person. I work as a security guard, so that means that I'm the bane of the existence of our crew. I would probably be dead or knocked out if they were actually real and trying to steal something from my place.
So do you get a lot of action in your line of work? Do you get to take people down, kind of like the characters?
So much.
Yeah, all right.
So much.
So you already have a really good background as to why you can play your character better than anyone.
Yeah, because I'm a security guard, and I take down so many bad guys on the daily, it's kind of nice to play this other person on the other side of the spectrum and look at it from their perspective. I think that my job, my actual real job, gives me a lot of perspective.
So on your daily job, would you say that you get a lot of people that you would have to argue with or get into a little bit of a spat with on your daily life?
For real, no. No,
my
really?
Job's pretty...
Yeah,
Okay, so you mostly get along with people. If you have to tell them to do something, they are like, okay, fine.
Yeah, there are a few. I mean, I work at a facility that has I want to say 200 to 300 employees, not all at the same time, but and of course there's going to be people that just are assholes. They're far and few between. Pretty much everybody's nice, and yeah, I mean it's a boring job, but it's a good one,
Well, when you originally said security guard, I imagined you immediately like a mall cop, basically. Like, it's like, hey, get out of the food court, you little jerk.
No, I work at a warehouse.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I sit outside in a guard booth and I check trucks in and out, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
So, but it affords me the what is the word?
Money.
Money, yeah, money to pay the bills, but independence and being away from other people. I'm able to get away from being on my phone all day. When you would send me scripts, I would practice them in my booth. Sometimes I sing in the booth because I like to sing. So I have the freedom to, not be looked at all the time.
So you're
nice.
more of a solitary kind of person.
Yeah.
When it comes to your job, I mean.
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, when did you find my channel? What was the video that jumped at you that said, "All right, I want to check out this guy's channel"?
I know it was in 2018, the beginning of 2018. I want to say it was March. That sounds right to me. And I know for sure that the first video was the third episode of the Tsundere series, and it was in my recommendations. I was on another ASMR video. I can't remember which one, but it was probably from Cardlin because I was really into him at the time. And I saw Sundari 3. I forget what is the actual title. I have no idea.
No,
I can't
it
remember.
is the tsundere. I just like audio roleplay tsundere classmate or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah. And
At the
I love
time, it was ASMR roleplay.
That's it. Yeah, and I love Sundaries, and I'm like, oh, this would be fun. And I listened, and I was immediately hooked. I thought it was really, really good, and entertaining. And I subscribed, and I listened to all the things that came before, and I've been here ever since.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, you were a prolific viewer of ASMR, so you'd kind of watched it quite a bit before you found my stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think I wouldn't say I was prolific at the time. I guess I'm more prolific now. I was kind of just getting into it at the time. Like I was into Cardlin. I was into less another ASMR channel, but she didn't really do role play. Heather Feather.
Oh,
Um,
yep. I was subscribed to
she's
her. I think I still
she's
am,
really
actually.
good. She took like a long ass break, but I think she's back now. But yeah, she was really really good. She helped me relax and she put me to sleep. That's why
Yeah,
I had
that's why
looked
you
up
use it.
ASMR in the first place. Yeah.
So, Cardlin and Heather Feather were a couple of your favorites. Who back then when you first started listening to ASMR, who was kind of like the person that were like, oh, what is this ASMR stuff this person's doing? What was kind of that introductory for you?
Okay, so it's an interesting story. I knew about ASMR kind of before I got into it, but I had no interest in actually looking into it. But I found Cardlin by chance. Okay, so this is an extreme tangent, so forgive
No,
me,
go
but it's part
ahead.
of the story.
Absolutely.
So I used to have trouble remembering to take my meds in the morning, and I thought it would be kind of cool to like Google search an image to like see if anybody has like, because I imagine that's a common problem. So I thought that maybe somebody would have like drawn something cool, or there would be a cool like graphic somewhere on Google that I could print out that I could put up on a wall to remind me to take my meds. Um, I didn't find that, but I found a thumbnail for one of Cardlin's videos where he did a video reminding his girlfriend to take her medicine. And I clicked on it and I was like, because I just thought it was really weird. And it had cute character art. I don't know. It it popped out to me, but I clicked on it and I don't know. I obviously was drawn in enough to keep listening, and I listened to him for a long time, and then branched out and found other people. I think part of like ASMR roleplay, the like part of the appeal is to make the listener feel like appreciated or paid attention to, and I think that's part of what drew me in, to at least the roleplay side of it. The non-roleplay side is just really nice to feel relaxed.
So this isn't a question that's actually on a list of questions that I had already thought out. You say that, obviously you had some people for role play. What are some people what was your kind of like first ever channel that you were like, oh, this person doesn't do role plays, they do more of like a trigger video. What was your kind of, who did you kind of learn that stuff from?
So the non-roleplay stuff, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Heather Feather was the first one.
Okay.
She does this thing, a few of her videos where she has several mics, and the one that really got me and gave me that feeling. I feel weird talking about it because some people misconstrue it and make it into like this weird thing. Um, but the first one that gave me like tingles and made me feel like that thing on the back of your neck. Um, I can't remember which video it was, but the mic that she was using was a 360 mic where she could circle around it and it would be like she was like all around you. And it freaked me out, but it was relaxing at the same time. It was weird and but weird in a good way.
Okay. So Heather Feather was kind of that. Like, oh, okay. So that there's this other thing besides role plays. It's just for
Yeah.
sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. To go on a little bit of a tangent, I actually not met, but I came across straight up relaxation stuff before I came across role plays, and I came across it was before ASMR was more of a thing. It was like in 2011, 2012.
Oh wow.
And then there was this woman. I don't know her channel name, but I know her name. Her name was Lita, and she was this just sweet old lady who would just she would do massage videos, and she would like show, like, it was almost like like an instruction on how to do certain massages, like a visual guide. And she would
Yeah.
just have a really, really relaxing voice. And I remember just listening to the videos for the voice. And then eventually, several years later, I came across a whole trend, well, a whole genre, I should say, just called ASMR. I'm like, oh, this is like Lita. So that's kind of how
Yeah.
I came into that. So I totally understand what you're saying there.
That's really cool. Yeah. I've seen like, I don't know, questions online, like in the ASMR community of like, what is the first like non-ASMR thing that you've heard? Like, what is the first
Yeah,
thing? Yeah.
I know exactly
Um,
what you mean.
and I'm sure I've experienced that, but I've got a horrible memory and I cannot remember it. But I do know that there's been, I don't know, voices that are comforting to listen to. So I think everybody's experienced that in some way.
Well, my first experience with ASMR was not so much an audio thing. It was more of like a feeling. Yeah, remember when you were a kid and like some people would play that game where they would take their finger and they would trace a letter on your back and then they made you
Yeah.
guess which letter they wrote? That was
Mhm.
kind of my first experience with that. Uh, and I remember thinking like, man, can they just like write out a whole novel? It just felt amazing. So that was kind of like my first experience when I was a kid, you know.
Yeah. I remember there was this video, it went viral, so I feel like a lot of people might have heard it or listened to it. It's kind of old. It's on YouTube.
As
It's
most things
not
are.
yeah. It's not strictly ASMR, like it doesn't market itself as ASMR, but they um it's a like a POV barbershop visit. There's no visuals or anything, but it's just the audio. And this dude, he's using one of those 360 mics that I talked about, and it sounds like you're getting a haircut. And at one point, first time I listened to it, it freaked me freaked me out. It gets really, really close to your ear. It whispers in it, and I was not familiar with that before, and I might have screamed the first time it happened because because it felt like he was right there.
Oh man, just to go on a brief tangent before we move on. I know
Yeah.
that feeling. It wasn't a whisper. It was a video. I don't remember the channel name, but it was like a boss and it was like a boss role play where like you were friendly with your boss because you know
Yeah.
people need that. Obviously a lot of people don't get along with their managers, and this was a friendly manager kind of visit. And the video opens with a knocking sound, but most videos have a knocking sound where you're like, okay, it's part of the video. This knocking sound was so high def and in like behind the mic that I literally thought someone was trying to come in the room. And it
That's
gets
so
me
freaky.
every time, so I know where you're coming from with that.
Yeah.
So you were my absolute number one first voice actor I ever had on staff to help me out with my stuff. And you ended up staying on for the entirety of the series. Did you ever see yourself taking this character as far as you did?
No. No, I thought it was just going to be a one and done thing. I mean, of course, I'm glad that, I had the opportunity to keep voicing her because I loved it. I love voice acting and I love Kai and I love voicing her, but I had no idea um that, we would continue on like that. Um yeah.
So you thought that when I brought this character Shell Crab in, you're like, okay, Shell Crab, I'll be here for an episode, and then the series will end.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I didn't think that the series would end because, I mean, at the end, she's like, I think I know a place. So
Yeah.
obviously there's going to be more. But I thought that, like, okay, her time is done. And now, BB and Ghost will go on. And there'll be, other new wacky characters maybe. Um, But no, I Shell kept on going, and I'm very,
Here
very
we go.
happy
I am
about that.
turning off the vibration. That is the second time. I apologize to YouTube. All right. Yeah, so I ended up originally having Shell Crab be slated for one episode, but the way that the character came across, I'm like, okay, I might want to have them stick around. And editing episode 5 of season 1 was probably the most excruciating experience I've ever had in editing because I did such a stupid job at it. I
Yeah.
I did the whole episode without a script and I played all the characters. Shell Crab, Good Thief, all of them. I played every single one without a script and then I went back and then scripted it. And then wrote down what each character said. And then I edited out all the Shell Crab lines I did. So I was Shell Crab for a brief
You
moment. And
you give yourself so much extra work
I
that you
know
don't need to do.
it was such a stupid like it would have been so much easier if I just wrote out a script, but I was so headstrong and so like stubborn that I didn't want to write scripts, and I ended up writing a script in the most roundabout, annoying way possible, and then I edited out all the lines I made of Shell Crab and Good Thief, and then I put all yours in, and when I listened to them back, I'm like, no, she's really good. I think I can do something with this character more so than just this episode. So originally you were supposed to be a one-time deal, and then I don't know if you've ever watched Breaking Bad, but there was a character in the show named Jesse Pinkman, and he Vince Gilligan, the writer of the show, originally had Jesse Pinkman be killed off in the first season, but
Oh,
because
wow.
how Aaron Paul played that character, he decided to keep that character for literally the entirety of the show and even made a whole ass movie about them. So
That's great.
it was kind of similar where the actor kind of made the character more relevant and actually kept them going. So it was literally the same scenario.
That's really sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the way you played it, I knew that there's obviously something here that I can capitalize on, and you really lived up to that potential, and you really helped bring that series to life. So I have to thank you for that as well.
Oh, well, I'm really glad to have been given the opportunity. I really, like I said, I love Kai and I love playing her. So
Well, but thank you very much for doing it. So you've played Kai for what? I want to say 12 videos. So you were there for the finale of season 1. You were there for the entirety of season 2 and 3, and then you were there for the series finale. So you were there for 12 episodes. Obviously, you should have a decent grasp on who your character is to you. So who is Kai behind the scenes? What is that character like when, obviously the cameras aren't rolling?
well, I mean, being a woman in the chair, I want to. She's not a background character, but she is in the background. I think she's more like the ultimate supporter. I feel like if you're her friend, she's got you, like no matter what. Like
Mhm.
it, whether that's like filling a room with like sleeping gas or calling in your old best friend to help your currently kidnapped best friend, like she's got you.
So
Um,
loyalty is very important to this character.
yes, absolutely. And I think that's part of why the ghost quote unquote betrayal hurt so much. I think is because loyalty means a lot to her, and also she had a little crush on him. I think that's pretty evident.
Let's go into that for a moment.
Oh no.
No. Let's go in because it's very interesting. I actually had I had in mind for late season 2 slash early season 3 to have Danny and BB actually end up together, which would have made a lot of people actually kind of happy because a lot of
Yeah.
people really enjoyed that dynamic. But and then I had Ghost and Kai becoming a couple, and the reason I had that in mind started around episode 2 of season 2 when they just had that scene where they were walking to the liquor store, and I was like, they have a lot of
Yeah.
chemistry.
It was a good one. I like that.
Yeah, that's still one of my favorite episodes to this day. There was no action; it was really short, but it was just a really nice, like a good vibes
Yeah.
episode. and that's when that idea kind of started. And the reason it died was because of how tense the scenes were when it was just Ghost and BB. Like
Yeah.
when it was the end of it was like the beginning of season 3 and episode 2, or at the end of that episode where they were having that talk. I could tell that a lot of people were like, "Oh shit, they're about to have that conversation," and that's where I kind of thought, there definitely is something here, and Kai is a really independent character.
Yep.
While keeping true to, like, I'm not even memeing when I say this because it is kind of a meme, but she's a strong, independent woman who does not need a man. She just doesn't need a man. So I feel like Kai doesn't need somebody else to justify her happiness. And that's why I felt like maybe I should have the main characters get together. But for a brief period in time, it was going to be Kai and Ghost because of how Kyra played that character. So obviously this loyalty is very important to Kai. What does Kai represent as a person? What does she stand up for?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I feel like she she stands for, things we've already talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, loyalty. I think that, she also represents independence and being able to be secure on your own. Like, I feel like she's always got her shit handled. Um, yeah.
And a
Sorry. I
big D&D nerd, obviously. Enough to get her
yes.
friend shot.
And,
Yeah.
yes, an absolute nerd in every sense of the word, and I love her for it.
So, you played this character for a while. Do you have any regrets about the character? Were there any lines or moments that you just didn't feel like you got all of it? Or maybe you didn't try as hard as you could have, or maybe you tried really hard and it just didn't turn out the way you wanted. Were there any lines or episodes or scenes where you're like, oh, I could have done that one a little bit better?
Um, Maybe it's because it's just fresh in my mind. But I feel like the finale was a little rough for me. Um, it could be because it's been a little while since I played Kai. But I felt a little rusty, and I do recall seeing at least one comment in the live stream that Kai sounds different. That kind of hit a little bit. So I hope it wasn't too noticeable. I hope I didn't sound different to everybody or bad. I did my best. Um, but I do think that I was just a little rusty, and yeah, I
To
think
be
that's
fair, to be fair, um, like you said, Kai's not a background character, but for the finale's sake, Kai's story had kind of already rounded out. If you hadn't watched the tapes and you're viewing this video, the how Mr. Black dies is basically Kai is the one that shoots him because of what he did to her family. It's the ultimate revenge. She gets the support from her friends. She gets the coolest killing line of all time,
yeah,
and she is the one that kills him. So her story kind of rounds out, which is why she plays more of a background character in the finale itself. So with that in mind, when you're a background character, not to say that Kai is a background character, but she was for that episode. When you're a background character, it's a lot harder to make that character feel impactful. Make that character feel like, oh, holy shit, they have a lot to do with this. Kai is sort of the bridge between Jay and BB, but that bridge loses its, I don't want to say she was useless, but that bridge kind of uses up its usefulness once he's brought to the same state as her. So at that point, it was probably very difficult for you to make Kai feel like Kai when I gave Kai like maybe a total of 20 lines in that entire episode. Keep in mind, it's an hour long and you got 20 whole lines.
yeah. I mean, now that you, now that I think about it that way, I think um, I felt that my performance was best during that episode at the beginning before, before Jay came back. When they were talking on the phone, I felt that that was probably my best performance in the
And
episode. And once, you know, things started rolling and it was just, transition scenes or, okay, I'll see you later. Um, I get it. You know, it's at that point, it's not her story. Um, so yeah, it was kind of hard to make an impact. But yeah.
No, actually, you read my mind because I was going to bring up that I felt like the best performance that you gave in that episode was that first scene you were in, because that was a turning point in the entire episode. That was literally like the part where everyone in the chat, and I remember this specifically because most people were just kind of vibing in the chat for most of the part of the episode. And as soon as Kai said happy birthday, the chat lost their fucking mind. They knew exactly who it was. And that was the part in the episode where you shined the best, because obviously the focus was directly on you. So it's really hard for you to shine and look like you're standing out and doing a good performance when the spotlight really isn't on you. But
Yeah.
I think you did a really good job. Personally, I didn't notice anything like that, but I really felt like you stood out during that first scene.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks.
So let's talk about the exact opposite of that question. Any moments that stuck out to you as that shining moment where you're like, damn, I nailed that. I did a great job on that line or that scene, or ooh, I did a great job in this episode. This just felt like I was firing on all cylinders. Were there any moments like that?
Yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've listened back to any of the episodes. So my memory is a little fuzzy, but what sticks out to me is got the interrogation scene, I guess, if you want to call it that. Yeah.
So the end of season 2.
Yes. Yes. I really like Kai's like fiery side when she gets pissed. It's hard for me. It's hard for me logistically because I'm self-conscious about my family hearing me and having to explain that I'm not actually like screaming at anybody.
I guess that is a problem for a lot of my actors, because I do have them getting loud at times.
Yeah. But I had a lot of fun with that, and I think that I did a decent enough job. I
No,
remember getting
absolutely.
really into it. So
Absolutely. You really brought that fire and that heartbreak and that, oh, how could you do this to me? To that
damn,
character. Yeah, how fucking dare you, dude? I got you out of so many situations and you were paying me like this? Yeah. So you really brought that to the character, and I thought that you did a great job in that as well. And I have to agree, that was definitely one of your standout scenes. And another scene that I felt that you did a great job, in my opinion, because it's fresh in my mind, because we just talked about it a little bit ago. But it was that scene where Ghost and Kyra walk into the liquor store together, and I felt like we just really bounced off each other very well in that scene. And you really did a great job of making Kai seem like a person more so than just an operator.
yeah, yeah. That's one of my favorite scenes too, because one of my favorite things is just like character interactions. Like, not like action is fun, you know, but just having characters interact with each other like actual people is really cool. I like that.
Yeah, so I think that there were plenty of scenes like that also for me personally, but I can't name any right now. If you gave me a little bit, I could think of a few, but I can definitely think of quite a few for you. So obviously, once again, you stayed around pretty much longer than any of my other actors have. Was there a point in like the early parts of you being around that you're like, damn, you know, I might be able to stick around. I might be able to take this character for quite a ride. Was there a moment where you're like, oh yeah, okay, I'm a mainstay in this show now?
Well, you know, I told myself that I would keep voicing Kai as long as you needed me. So I was, you know, once you brought me back for season 2, um, you know, I had no idea how long I would keep going. But I told myself at that point that I would keep going at you know, forever. um, but I don't think there was any specific point where I was like, okay, yeah, he's gonna keep me for a while. I just kept taking the scripts as you gave them to me.
All right, that's fair. We're going to do one more question from my stuff. I have 2 more questions on my script, but I want to save the last one for the last question overall, because I feel like it's pretty important. But we're going to go with, this is the last question for my script for now, and then we're going to go into viewer questions. If you could play, so this is a 2-sided question. If you could play one other character in Your Roommate the Assassin, who would it be?
One other character, and
This is not restricted to females. This is not restricted to any character. You can be Ghost for all you care.
Hmm. That is a good question. You know, I don't think I'd be able to pull it off, but Neela is a really fun character, and I think she would be fun. Um, I don't think that I don't think I have the acting chops for it, at least quite yet, but um, if slash whenever I did, I would love to take a crack at a character like her.
Being a villainous kind of character is, for me at least, a lot more fun than being a hero, but it's also a
Yeah.
lot more challenging. It's a lot harder to sound convincing as a villain without sounding like an over-the-top cartoon villain. It's very difficult. And I have a role coming up where I'm going to have to be a villain. And I've
Ooh.
been practicing while I'm at work, and I'm like, oh, God, this is really hard. How do I not sound like an anime villain? Like this. It's just over the top.
Well,
It's
you
goofy.
know, if you can't get the realism, just embrace the anime
Just
villain.
sell it. Just go for it.
Just go for it. Yeah.
I think that could work. You know what? I think we're gonna do that. So, the second half of this question, and this is not restricted to anything I make. You can say something I've made, or it can be anything else. If you could play a character in any source of media you've ever taken in, who would it be?
I have one character immediately popped in my head. Katara from Avatar: The Last
I
Airbender.
think you do a great job at Katara. I think actually.
I love her so much, and yeah, I would love. Actually, two others. One of my favorite shows is Steven Universe, and I would love to voice either or both. Um, uh, Sapphire or Stevani. They're pretty cool. I like them, and I think my voice suits them.
I think your voice would suit Katara as well. I think that would work really well, especially like an older Katara too.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think those are all really good choices actually.
Cute.
So tell you what, we have quite a few viewer questions. So we have 36 comments. One of them is from me telling everybody, "Hey, these are the questions for the actor, not the character."
Oh,
So
did you get mine where I was asking about my blood type?
you can
Because I
tell that
don't
if you really want to. We'll
I
go.
don't know. I don't know. So I was hoping that future me might know,
We're
but
gonna go from bottom to top. That way, we're gonna leave the more liked questions for last.
okay.
Georgie says, "Not a question. I just love you, Kyra."
Oh, Georgie! I love you.
Georgie is one of the mods in my Discord server. By the way, another shameless plug. Join my Discord server. It's awesome.
Definitely join.
I don't know how to say this person's name, so if I say anybody's name wrong, I truly apologize. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just don't know how to say your name. If you want to correct me in the comments or correct me some other time, feel free. I believe this person is in our Discord server. Letitia Moreau asks, "Have you done any other voice acting?"
I have not. Surprisingly, I've done absolutely none. I've done some other auditions for some smaller projects. Nothing like this. They were all animation projects actually. But I did not get any roles.
So when you went into Kai's role, you had very little experience at the time.
Very little. Yeah.
That's
Not.
pretty impressive that you were able to get the role on no experience, basically.
Yeah, I was shocked.
So this question, we're gonna go through like some people have multiple questions in one comment, and how I
Okay.
used to do in QA videos, I would go through the questions and then answer them. I wouldn't read the whole thing at once. I would read it by question and then go from there.
Yeah.
So Agent Chicken Tendo says, number one, did you cry until your eyeballs felt like a desert because of this story? Because I sure did. It was amazing. First of all, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Secondly, let's hear your response.
First of all, I love your username. Second of all, I don't, I still have my eyeballs, so I didn't cry that much. Um, but, there were a few times that I cried. Not during recording, but, listening back, like listening to
That
the
would have
episode.
that would have been great if you could have cried during recording. That would have added something, man. That's okay.
Should have. It would have. Yeah, no, but I've definitely cried, just not as much as you. I'm sorry. I'm soulless.
All right, number 2. If you were really in the story as yourself and not Kai, what would you have done in a life or death situation that she faced?
Oh, I would freeze. See, okay, so you've got flight or fight, but there's
Yeah.
also freeze. I'm a freezer. Okay, I would freeze and then probably die. So that's what I would do.
We appreciate the honesty.
Yes.
All right, number 3. How did you feel during Ghost's betrayal scene? I cried. Duh, I know, guilty, that I'm in love with the voices in 2D people. Love this series. I simp for Ghost, period. Thank you, Agent Chicken Tendo. I simp for you too. Wait, hold on. I simp for you too.
No.
So, what did you think about that betrayal scene?
Okay. I was very much in Kai's headspace at the time. Honestly, I felt betrayed. I was pissed off. Yeah, I was very upset.
I always love it when my actors can get into the headspace of the character, not just reading lines, not just acting, but be that character. So the fact that you were able to get legitimately angry at a piece of fiction that I was able to write specifically for you to voice is great. I thought it came out really well. I thought you sounded legitimately like furious, and I think it came out really well.
I was pissed, and I think at the time, I think I might have known. I think you might have told me at that point what Ghost's motivations were, but I didn't care. I was still pissed.
Yeah, I think I had Ghost's motivations pretty much mapped out way in advance. Ghost was never slated to be a true villain. From the get-go, it was always like, oh, he has a master plan. But it didn't matter because Kyra was able to get into that headspace and say, okay, I know this, but the character doesn't. Therefore, I don't know this, period. That's how this is going to work. So the fact that you were able to do that, it's great. Let's talk about the next one. Red and Rose asks, what is your favorite Kai moment?
My favorite Kai moment.
Maybe not necessarily your favorite acted moment, but the favorite moment that the character themselves actually did.
First episode she was in, I fucking loved it. When she got the call to work out her D&D game. That's so fucking funny. I love that so much. Life or death, her, not her operator, but her, Ghost is getting shot at. No, D&D is more important.
You know what? That's pretty fair. I liked that too. All right, here's an interesting one, and I would love to know your answer for this one. Maybe more so than a lot of the questions I asked you. Oh. Joe today asks, is there anything you would change from the story?
No. I know that's a boring answer, but no. Up until fairly recently, I was a little, for lack of a better word, miffed that Ghost and Kai didn't get together, not for my personal benefit, but because I really liked their chemistry together. But the more I thought about it, and especially when BB was given a voice and they actually had actual interactions together, I realized, oh, they have much more chemistry than Kai and Jay do. And they're best friends, and they've been best friends for years. So, TLDR, I used to want to change that, but I no longer do. I think that it's perfect.
It's hard for me to hear like a friend of mine legitimately and truthfully say there's nothing I would change about this, because then you don't get any constructive criticism. But at the end of the day, they're also saying this is great how it is, don't change it. So it's a compliment, but you're like, damn, I'm not really growing, am I?
I know, that's why I feel kind of bad saying no, because like I get that. But no, honestly.
No, I still appreciate it. The next one, Ellen, who has a Aang Avatar pick, which is awesome because we just talked about Avatar.
Nice.
What do you think of Kai? Is there anything you would change about her? Oh,
what do I think of Kai?
At the end, they added, by the way, I really love the way you portrayed her, and your voice acting is really good.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Thank you. What do I think of Kai? I love her to bits. If she was real, we would be best friends. And roommates, and we would live happily ever after. Um, um,
She'd be like, "You sound a lot like me."
yeah. Sorry, what was the second part of the question?
The second
Was it...
is there anything you would change about Kai?
No, she's perfect. No, she's perfect. I know I'm biased, okay? I know I'm biased, but I love her.
No, that's fair. That's fair. So, the next question, MHA Weeb. I'm guessing that's My Hero Academia Weeb.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess. That's a good show, by the way.
Hell yeah.
What would you say was your favorite part of your Roommate the Assassin, and what do you like most about your character? So let's talk about the first one. What was your favorite part of the show? It can be a part where you were in or weren't in or anything.
Okay, it's my favorite part of the show is actually Kaya's not in it. I really liked just the interactions between Jay and BB at the end of the finale. I guess that's not a moment per se, but a moment in time, I guess.
A moment in time.
Yeah, like I said, they have a lot of chemistry. I really like actually hearing the back and forth. Like, you can tell that they've been best friends for years, and you can tell that they're in love with each other. It was just really nice, and yeah, I'm a sucker for best friend to lovers things. So
I agree.
yeah.
You know, I'm happily married, but there's like I still listen to friends to lovers audios because I just love the story. I love the story behind a character and another character growing in terms of love and becoming, you know, lovers. That's why I like shoujo anime more than shonen. I like shonen anime a lot. It's really cool, but you're always gonna sucker me in with a really cute and funny love story. It's more so than an awesome fighting scene.
Same.
Here's a great question by YouTube user Kyra. What's your blood type?
First of all, you pronounced it wrong, sir.
Well, that's Kiri.
It's Curie.
Okay. Well,
It's like my name, but without an A. Like, take away the A and put an E in there.
well, it's two eyes.
I don't know.
Jay doesn't
Listen.
have 2 eyes.
No! Too soon. Too soon. It will always be too soon.
So let's ignore this question because you don't even know your blood type, do you?
I don't, and people tell me that I should know it. I probably should.
You know what? I don't know my blood type either. I think it's B. I don't know.
God.
Which would be hilarious because of the amount of B jokes I make. Lizzie Chan Stuffs, which is Lizzie Chan in our server. She asks, do you have big brain energy?
Do I have big brain energy? I don't know. Can you determine if you have big brain energy? I don't know. Preston, do I have big brain energy?
Yes.
Okay, I do. Thanks.
My source is that I have big brain energy.
Oh.
I know what I'm talking about, okay? Emi says, what's the most favorite thing personality-wise that you like about Kai, and what's the least favorite?
Well, we already know that I am in love with her, so least favorite is going to be very hard. Most favorite, that sounds really self-absorbed of me, considering I voice her. It's not that. I just love her a lot, okay? I'm so sorry. What is... Say the question again.
What's your most favorite thing personality-wise about her, and what's your least favorite thing personality-wise?
Okay, most favorite... I guess I don't know if it's really a personality trait, but I really like her nerdiness. I guess it's a personality trait.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I can relate to it a lot, and I think that's probably why it's my favorite. My least favorite.
You can't say she's perfect.
I don't like... Darn it. I don't like how stubborn she could be sometimes. Like, at the beginning of season 3, like, I get it. She was super, super pissed at Ghost. I totally get it. But, she was giving him such a hard time until, she was given the ultimate reason to, like, not give him a hard time anymore instead of just, listening to him, Yeah, that's kind of an unattractive quality, but I understand.
All right, that's a fair answer. I think pretty much any character you can think of has a fatal flaw. Danny does things, and this is well documented. He does things without consulting others. He makes decisions for other people. Jay thinks his way is best, and he doesn't care what anyone says. His way is best, and that is what he is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Kai is stubborn, and she doesn't forgive easily.
He holds grudges.
BB is way too forgivingly, even to a fault.
Mm-hmm.
And Neela is a coward, and she will run away from danger. They all have things about them that they're real people. So I think I think they're people, and it takes a lot of hard work to bring those people to life. You have to bring those flaws to life, and you definitely did that, because I remember listening to some of your takes back, and I was like, God damn, she's really laying the venom into these.
Yeah, I was very much in character.
Next question. Joe Not Today, somebody who's already left a comment, so they have another one for us. What made you give such awesome backgrounds to all the characters? I don't know if this is supposed to be at you.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it's for me.
I'm sorry, Joe Not Today, I should say. Please forgive me, but I'm going to have to gloss over this question on the grounds that I'm silly and I just don't understand it. I apologize. Let's move on to the next one. Perpetual, who has a Katara avatar picture.
Oh, what?
There you go. She has Katara with oh my god, is that I can't see it. Maybe I'm just blind. But Perpetual asks, do you have any fun bloopers you can tell us about?
There's not nothing too fun. I flub up a lot of my lines. My biggest thing, I have a really hard time enunciating, so I will trip over my words a lot and slur them together. But no, that's about it. I know that's not a very fun answer, but it is what it is.
All right, I'm gonna ask a question here.
Yeah.
This is not on here. Were there any lines or any like episodes or any bits where you were like, God damn, I just cannot get this line. Oh my god.
Yes, I know for a fact that there are several. And I really wanted to message you about it to ask if we could change it or something, but I didn't because I'm a coward. I don't know. But I cannot think of them off the top of my head. But if I go back and listen or I look at the script, I could probably tell you. But I know for a fact, yes.
If you ever think of them, you should definitely DM me, being like, hey, remember that question you asked me that I couldn't think of? Here's my answer.
Yeah.
Georgie says, and once again, they actually have a question this time.
Again?
Also, when you watch the series back, does it take you out of it to hear your own voice?
Yes, very much so. The worst is, the worst, that implies that it's bad. It's not bad. It's just very weird. I remember even now, it's weird to hear when I first come in, season 5, episode 5,
wow.
The season finale.
Spoilers!
Of season 1, when I first come in, I'm like, whoa, that's me. What? And I feel like, I sound different in that episode than I do in subsequent episodes. I feel like I might sound younger. I'm not entirely sure why.
That's good, because it's a year before the following events.
You're right.
So it all works out.
It does. So yeah, it is. It does take me out of it a little bit. And I think that's kind of inevitable. Because, I've connected with Kai so much. And of course it is my voice. So hearing it, I think, oh, that's me. It's different, than it would be for you guys listening. Because, yeah.
I'm used to it. I have made a lot of videos in the past, and I am in most of that video, pretty much through all of them. So I've kind of gotten used to hearing my voice back on YouTube. But I would suspect it's still pretty jarring to somebody, especially on when you're not on that person's channel, when that's not your channel. It could probably seem really off-putting.
Yeah, it's weird, but not in a bad way. It's just it kind of just takes you aback for a second.
I remember I starred in something on Night Blossom's channel.
Yeah.
For like a finale for her Bear Shifter series, and I was the king. And no disrespect to her whatsoever, but to this day I have not listened to it because I don't want to hear my voice. Because I hated how I sounded. I hated it. I was like, I was told I needed to have like a really strong, deep voice, and I'm like, that's just not me. Like, I have an anime protagonist voice at best, and that is just does not fit that of a king, a big burly bear king. And I'm like, I don't know. So I purposely talked like this the whole time, and I'm like, I'm not listening to that back. Absolutely not. You couldn't pay me. So I really hope I did a good job, and the script was good. I liked it, and it sounded like a good story, but I have not watched it, and I'm sure everyone did an amazing job, but I don't want to listen to my voice on that video.
I remember you telling us about that, and I think you at least linked it to me, so I do remember listening to it, and I don't remember a lot of it, honestly, but I remember your performance being good.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We have another question here. Caitlin Phillips asks, who was your favorite character out of this entire series?
What's my favorite character?
I mean, it would have to be Kai, wouldn't it?
I mean, it's gotta be Kai. That sounds so self-absorbed, but it is. It's Kai.
It is and it isn't. The reason is because my favorite character is obviously Ghost, because of how I wrote him. But people don't know this. But my least favorite character, by a country mile, is Danny.
You know, I knew that.
You did know that. I don't like him as a character, and I don't like voicing him. I'm gonna feed you guys a hard pill to swallow, and this is from me to you. This is from somebody who wrote the fucking thing, so I know what I'm talking about. The only reason you shipped Danny and BB is because he was nice to her. They had no chemistry. And I'm going to need you to swallow that pill, okay? I'm sorry to destroy your ship, but, like, as soon as I realized the amount of chemistry that Ghost and BB had in Season 3, I'm like, wow, Danny and BB have fucking none. He's just really nice to her, and that's it.
You know, I think part of it is, especially in the first episode of Season 3, it shifted more into almost ASMR boyfriend territory.
It did, and that's actually, you know what? That's actually a part of the reason why I stopped liking it, because I had I told my viewers, my Discord members, everyone that would listen, I am never making husband or boyfriend role plays as long as I fucking live. That's just not me.
But you did.
I did a little bit, didn't I?
Yeah.
I say I don't make romantic stuff, but both of the major stories I've written on my channel end up with a fucking romance at the end.
Well, dude, okay, it's, you know, to be fair, you are an admitted romantic. So it's kind of hard, you know?
I think it's different though, because I'm not really showing what happens after the characters get together. I'm just showing them getting together. I'm showing the long build up to them getting together.
Yeah, you're not showing the domesticity, if that's how you say it.
Enough of this. This isn't about me. This is about you. I'm not taking more of the spotlight. I don't need it. This is about you. All right.
Okay,
so
well,
let's
take it back.
yeah. Take it back.
Yeah.
All right. Next question is from Winter Flurry. I don't have a question. Oh, my bad. I don't have a question. I just want to say you have a very nice voice.
Oh, thank you so much. You guys are way too nice.
I mean, I do have the best fans on YouTube.
You do. Very sweet.
Oh wow. Somebody already knew your name. I guess I already said it in the video itself. But I'm just gonna say, yeah. Okay, my mistake. Dawn asks, Kyra, how did you start voice acting?
This.
This. All right, this. That's the shortest answer in the world. They actually had a couple other questions. Also, how are you doing?
How am I doing? Whoa, we're getting real.
Yeah, this is deep stuff. This is journalism right here.
You know what? I'm okay. I'm okay.
That's a scalding hot take.
Okay. Earlier today, right before this, I binged. I'm sure somebody knows about this TV show, Lucifer.
Yeah,
Season 5 just came out on Netflix, part 1. I love that show so fucking much. I
I need to get
love
back into
the
that show.
interaction. I love the interaction between Lucifer and Chloe. I'm rambling now, but what I did just before this, I watched that. I binged it with a friend, and it was a lot of fun.
I the only show I've watched recently is a very controversial show on
Yeah.
Twitter right now. It's called Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out, and
I
I fucking love that show. And I'm
yeah.
only like 5 episodes in, and I have like 7 to go because it's gonna be a really short anime. But it's only 7 episodes out right now, and I have to wait on more, and I'm upset. And I'm obsessed with this show. It's so good.
Why is it
Um,
controversial?
Well, the main character, who's actually my profile picture on Discord right now,
Oh, I see.
um, she is really short for a college girl, and she's super fucking stacked.
Oh no.
She's
Oh
very busty.
no.
So all of Twitter's like, "This isn't realistic." And I'm like, "She's a fucking drawing. Who cares?"
Oh my god.
But I
Oh
really like the show. But I understand being completely invested in a show right now. That's kind of where I'm at. And
yeah.
part of the reason why I've only gotten like 2 episodes of this new script I have written out. Otherwise, I'd have more.
I mean, you've also
Um,
had a visitor recently.
yeah, I did have a visitor, and I didn't want to write over the course of her being here. So
Hmm.
they have one more question.
Okay.
Also, do you have a channel? Because if so, I'm
Do
gonna
I have
sub.
a channel? I do. I don't upload nearly as often as I want to. I keep saying in the description of every video, oh, more uploads coming soon, but something always gets in the way, usually my depression or laziness. But
I
yeah, I have
understand
a
that.
channel. If you look up Kyrie Craziness, it's Kyrii and then craziness with a K because I'm crazy. If you
That's
look that up,
wacky.
yeah, I post song covers, and somewhere in there is a dramatic monologue, but mostly song covers. Yeah, if you guys want to go check it out, I'd be very much appreciative.
I
Yeah.
should say this. She doesn't. She should, but she does not voice act very much on her channel. She's not really. She's not really into voice acting, pretty much unless it's with my stuff.
I
So
don't,
if
and
you're looking for more voice acting stuff from Kyra, you're either going to have to coerce her into making her own stuff, or you're going to have to wait for me to bring her into another video of mine.
yeah, it's not that I don't want
I
to.
think you
It's just like
should,
I
though.
said, I should. I'm.
I mean, could you imagine you get a jump start on subs? I'd be like, hey, Kira finally made her own channel to do voice acting stuff. Go sub, and you get like a bunch of people joining.
Oh my god, it would be overwhelming.
So let's move on to the next question here. Yuki Tachibana asks, do you watch anime, and if so, what are your favorites?
Yes, I do watch anime. I don't currently watch anime. I've kind of been obsessed lately with I got into World of Warcraft recently, so that's taking
Mode,
up all of my time.
mode. I see
Um,
you on all the time, and I'm like, is that bitch doing archaeology right now?
yes. But favorite anime. Oh my god, why is my mind going blank? I watch anime. I like anime. Okay, one of my all-time favorites is Hibike Euphonium, by the same studio that did K-On! It's Kyoto Animation. So the animation is perfect. It's about this school band. I was never in band, but this anime made me want to be in band, and I hate that I wasn't. And I love music, so I love any music anime. Um, yeah.
It's so funny you mentioned that an anime made you want to be in a band. I have something similar. It's a lot more pathetic though.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I watched this anime called Toradora,
Ooh, yeah.
and it's to this day still one of my favorites. And if somebody told me, "Hey, I'm interested in watching Toradora. Do you want to watch it with me?" I would say, "Yes, yes, I do." And um, that anime, I watched in fucking one day. I just was
My God.
hooked, and I literally cried not because of how beautiful the story was, but because I didn't have a girlfriend and I was so alone. That show made me want a girlfriend so fucking bad. Uh,
I relate. I relate. I feel you.
oh my god. It was bad. But I understand what you're saying, that an anime made you want to like do something different with your life. Definitely.
Yeah.
We have a message from Neptune. I don't have any questions, but I would really like them to know how much I love their voice and how wonderfully they've done as Kai.
You guys, you need to stop. I'm gonna cry. I need you to stop. Thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. It really, really does.
They're right, though. We have another message from Perpetual. What was the most challenging thing about voicing Kai?
Most challenging thing. Well, I've already mentioned it's not specific to Kai, but I've already mentioned my struggles with enunciation and slurring my words, especially when I get nervous. So that's kind of a struggle. It's something that, you know, if I continue to pursue voice acting, which I would like to do, I know that there's techniques and strategies and stuff that you can do to help yourself enunciate better and speak clearly. But other than that, voicing Kai specifically, I think at the beginning I really wanted to. I've always wanted to make her sound mature, or more mature than I do, and so it was always kind of a struggle between, you know, making her sound mature, but not unbelievable. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I had a struggle with voicing Ghost out of all the characters.
Yeah.
I wanted to make him sound like dark and really like brooding, but I didn't want him to sound like overtly edgy and like a fucking
Edgy anime protagonist.
Yeah, an edgy anime protagonist. Exactly what I fucking called him in one of the episodes.
Yep.
Yes, but I understand that I tried to like. The voice acting is not as easy as it looks. I mean, some people can just pick it up and fucking do it. I need to practice quite a bit and try to get that character down.
I don't think anybody can really pick it up and just do it. Maybe they can do it better, or not better, but easier than other people. But it's an art craft. It's something that you have to practice. And you know, it might come a little bit easier to others, but everybody has to practice in order to be good or to better themselves.
Yeah, I noticed that some people are just natural at it. They still have to work at it, but they're just natural and they already have that talent for it.
Yeah.
I was not like that at all. Look at my stuff from the tsundere stuff to now. It's a process. You do get better over time, but it takes a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. I think it's kind of cool to be able to go back and not, I was about to say look, but listen to, you know, how you were back then compared to now. Growth. I love growth. Growth is good.
We love it.
It's cool to have proof of growth.
We have a question from Bad Influence Audio.
Oh.
How do you roll into it without sounding like a robot? I really like when the character you play gets mad. It sounds real.
Oh, that is a really good compliment. Thank you so much. Because like I said, I fear that I don't sound believable. So I'm glad that, you know, you think that I do. So how do I not sound like a robot? Really, it's just about getting into the head of your character. I think part of why it wasn't easy for me to get into bringing her a voice. But, you know, in some way I have done voice acting on my own before. Like, you know, when I would read books, I would read them out loud and I would give each character a voice and I would step into their role and figure out where they're coming from. I think that's it, is connecting with your character and becoming them for as long as you're in front of the mic.
Yeah, like we just discussed in the previous message, that voice acting is tough. You need to work at it, and it's not just about reading lines, because if you're reading lines, you sound like a robot. It's just,
yeah.
So the short answer to that is just a lot of practice and hard work and
Yep.
figuring out exactly what you want to do. So yeah, I totally agree. This message is a little bit of a long one, not too long, but we're gonna go piece by piece here. Jackie Summers says, "You did an awesome job when it came to voicing Kai. Was there ever a part that was difficult to get through, either because it was funny or made you laugh all the time, or too sad, or anything like that?"
The end of season 2 was it was that was probably the most difficult, is getting into that headspace of somebody who's just been betrayed, and feeling all those emotions. Like it's not just anger, it's this deep hurt, and I was really trying to feel it so that I could properly portray it. But it was really hard to be there, and it kind of brought me down for the rest of the day, honestly, because it was just really hard to be in that place.
Yeah. So, what about any moments that you're like, oh god, I can't stop laughing at this fucking line. How am I gonna read this without laughing?
God, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I know that it exists, but I cannot think of it off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Um, I hope basically what they're trying to say is, were there any difficult scenes to get through, and you already answered that. So, let's move on. We're getting up the list here, so now we're getting to the questions with multiple likes. So that tells me that multiple people wanted that question answered. Doodlebop, great name.
Yeah.
Their message is, what was it like to be the actor for Kai?
I don't know. I feel like we've kind of touched on this before.
Yeah,
I don't. You know what? It was fun. I don't know what else to say much beyond that we haven't already said. But it was fun. It was really fun to put myself in the shoes of this character that is so rich, and she feels like a real person. And like I said, she feels like a person that I would want to be roommates with. It was a lot of fun playing her.
I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. I mean, that's why
Yeah.
I voice act, and I don't have a Patreon or anything like that, because I do it for free. I do it for fun. But
We do this for fun,
meant.
and I had fun.
Yeah, that's what you want. So I mean, that's exactly what I want to hear. That's literally the answer that I could possibly hope for. It was fun.
Oh, thank God. It was the correct answer. Oh, God. Thank
Yeah, there is a correct answer. Oh, my God. We have a couple questions from this person. Their name is Just a Random Person.
Oh,
So let's get into them. Number 1, what are some of your favorite lines or parts when playing Kai? Did you have any lines, like a specific line that jumped out to you, like, ooh, that was nice, or that was fun to say, or anything like that?
God, I feel like a jerk because my memory is horrible. And I wish I had access to these before, because I would have been able to, like, find those. Because I know that I had, like, lines that I really, really liked.
I mean, you did go through a lot of episodes.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I can't...
You've probably done over 300 lines of dialogue for me total.
Yeah, and
So it's understandable that they don't just pop into your head immediately. So I understand. Yeah, that's fine. Obviously that there are some, you just can't think of them right now. How about we already know your favorite character, but they also followed it up with, who is your least favorite character?
Ooh. An easy one would be Mr. Black, because he's just irredeemable. He's just a fucking asshole. I gotta say, in the past, it might have been Neela, but that is also an easy answer.
That is also an easy answer.
She's a coward, and she ran and she left us fucking high and dry. But that's just who she is. Danny, however, I don't. He fucking left. He went off to Russia. What the fuck? I know that everybody's pissed at him for that, and that's kind of also an easy answer, but I just don't like the way he operates, quite honestly.
Yeah, I think that Ghost and Danny have very similar flaws, but they do them slightly different.
Mm.
Danny does things without consulting others, and he just jumps the gun. And Jay refuses to listen to anybody else because he thinks his way is best.
Yeah,
So
that's
they're very similar in terms of how they approach situations and piss people off.
hmm
Um, yeah, I think I think what separates them though is that Danny doesn't apologize for doing things without consulting others. He just tries to justify it and tries
you
to get
know,
you to understand.
you know what?
Meanwhile, Jay does apologize consistently through the series.
I'm glad that you said that because I could not put it into words why, and that is exactly why. I feel like, Danny does these things, and that's just the way it is. He's not going to apologize. He's not going to change. Um, but Jay apologizes. Jay grows and changes as a person, and I think that is ultimately what matters.
I unintentionally made that the case. That people always ask like, how did you do all this how did you do all this foreshadowing? And the one thing that they always say is, in the first fucking episode, Jay says, for all you know, you can meet the love of your life in a dumpster, and
Yeah.
fucking Danny finds BB in a dumpster, and they end up dating. I didn't plan that. That just happened. In fact, I forgot about that line until somebody brought it up after they had started dating. I don't foreshadow shit. I just fucking write it as it goes, and it just happens to fall into place. I'm not some fucking genius writer. I got lucky. I got fucking lucky. That's all that is.
You know what? Sometimes this shit just writes itself.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. I could go to sleep and just leave my fucking fingers on the keyboard, and yeah. All right, number 3. If you ever had a chance to be Kai, be the character in the world of your roommate, the assassin, would you take it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so here's the thing. Yes, she does go through a lot of shit. Yes, she does get wheelchair bound for a hot second, but you know what? She gets it back. And now I don't know what she's doing for a job exactly, but she's out there. She's kicking ass. She's walking. She's perfect. She's Kai, and yes, of course I would be her.
That's a damn good answer, yeah. I was expecting no. Are you kidding me? A grenade through my window? No.
Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. That if it was me, like in Kai's position, like no. But if I am Kai, yes. Yes. There's a difference.
Oh boy, here's an intense one.
Ooh.
Number 4, thoughts on 2020.
You know that song? There's a song by Avenue Nation, I think. Or I don't know. It's a song called Low Key Fuck 2020, and I heard it on TikTok, and yeah, that's my mood. Fuck 2020. It's it's been an awful year.
I think most people can say 2020 fucking sucks when you ask them.
Yeah. I mean, personally, it hasn't impacted me too much. I've never been out of work. I haven't gotten sick. It hasn't personally affected me too much, but it's just the state of the world is just very depressing. So yeah, fuck 2020.
Yeah, I'm completely with you there. Danielle H asks, who are your favorite actors and actresses, and did you pull any inspiration from them when performing this role? Now, I assume they mean, like, in the entire world, not just this series.
Yeah. I'm gonna answer the second one because it's easier. No, I didn't draw any inspiration. That would be a good thing to do as a voice actress, but I am still very, very amateurish. So I kind of just threw myself behind the mic and got myself into the character, and that's that. As for favorite actors or actresses, I don't follow too many people, I guess religiously. I know that if you showed me like a picture of an actor, I could tell you like, oh yeah, I like them. They're cool. Um, But no,
Yeah, I'm kind of like that too. I don't really follow a specific actor or actress. I mean, if they're good in something, I'll be like, oh yeah, hey, it's them. But you know,
yeah. Um, I'm thinking like, okay, so like how sometimes you'll see an ad for like a movie and you won't really be interested until you see that so and so is going to be in it. And like, oh, I got to go see it. That ever happened to you?
not particular. I mean, I'll see a bit, and I'll point like the fucking Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's pointing at the TV. Yeah, that's me when I see an actor I recognize, but I haven't
Yeah.
ever thought, yeah, I want to go see that just because of who it's. Well, okay, actually, yes, yes,
Yeah.
it's a movie that's not out yet. Um, don't know what the fucking movie's called, but it's a Netflix like original. It has Tom Holland in it.
I was about to say.
It has
Sorry.
Robert Pattinson in it.
Yeah.
It has a bunch of people from like fucking Avengers in it. It's like
Hmm.
this movie in the South,
Yeah.
and
I know
that
exactly
I
what
want
you're
to fucking
talking about.
see that.
Me too. And actually, as I started thinking about it, I realized Tom Holland is probably one of my favorite actors, and that honestly, that's probably just because he's Spider-Man, and
Yeah,
I
for
love
real.
I love Spider-Man so fucking much. Um, but yeah, I want to see that movie simply because he's in it.
First of all, let's decide this right now. Best live action Spider-Man.
Best live action Spider-Man. Okay, there's room for debate. But I think in terms of combining Peter, the Peter persona and Spider-Man's persona together, Tom Holland,
I agree
definitely,
completely.
definitely.
As somebody who grew up with Tobey Maguire,
Same,
I think that Tom Holland brought that character to life just
absolutely.
fucking amazingly. It's not that any of the two were bad. Well, Garfield could have been a little bit better, but it's not that Maguire was bad. It's just that Holland was that good, in my opinion. If somebody else disagrees, I totally understand. I'm not going to argue and tell them that Holland was just infinitely better, but I prefer a more younger, teenage kind of Peter Parker to what he did. But yeah, we're going to go over this question, but we're going to also skip past it because we've already answered it. Broken Pieces asks, who's your favorite character from the series? We've already established that that's Kai. So
Okay.
here's another question that we've kind of went over. There's multiple questions with this, but I think we've kind of answered all of them anyway. Lemon Garlic Bread has a message. Favorite anime, and you said that was...
Well, Hibike Euphonium.
Okay. So that is absolutely your favorite, period.
I'm horrible at choosing favorites. It
Yeah.
changes. But
Mine too.
it's one of my favorites. Like, it means a lot to me. Like, I've rewatched it a couple of times and I cry every single time. And if it can move me to tears like that, then yeah, it means a lot to me. So yeah, it's one of my favorites. So yeah, we can say it's my favorite.
Um, here's another question that we already answered, but we're gonna go over it anyway. How and when did you get into voice acting? This and whenever fifth episode was. Check the published date.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's one that we might have answered a little bit, but we didn't really go into it. So let's talk about most emotional episode of You're the Assassin for you.
Most emotional.
Maybe in terms, let's have this a two-sided question. Most emotional episode that you felt was inflicting emotion upon Kai and you in sort of that same nutshell, and most emotional episode overall for the audience to be watching.
Okay, that's a long. Okay, so for me and Kai first.
Yes.
I can't believe I did not think of this before, like in terms of like, emotion and scenes that were hard. The fucking grenade scene and then the hospital scene right after. The hospital scene was really, really hard. Like in terms of trying to make it sound believable that she's like fucking blown up in this bed.
Yeah.
And, but also it was hard because I was in the mind of this character that had, just lost her parents. It's super, super sad. And I might have actually cried at some point during that recording session, but I don't think I left it in because I should have left it in. That was really stupid.
That would have been good.
But
I would have used it.
it would have been good, but I think that I must have thought that it didn't sound good. that shouldn't have been my decision to make, but it is what it is. Um, yeah, I've lost sight of the question, but I think that was probably the most emotional scene for me and for Kai.
So the second half of the question was most emotional episode, in your opinion, for the viewer to be watching.
Um, I think to this day, despite everything else that has happened since, at the end of season 2, just that betrayal and the fact that the audience didn't know why at that point. I remember pretty much everybody was so pissed at Ghost because of what he did, and pissed at Neela.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I drew
To
out.
this day, I wish I premiered both those episodes.
Can you imagine?
Oh my god. I regret not premiering sooner.
It'd be blowing up.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, that's a pretty fair answer. Here's another question we've already gone over, but once again, I want to read it. How did you feel about Ghost's betrayal scene? And you already told us that you tried to get into that headspace of you were very hurt. So yeah, you did a great job getting into that character. And obviously you knew why he did, but Kai didn't. Therefore, you decided that neither did you. So, here's another message, and we are getting close to the end of the comments here. Sushi Surfer has a message. What did it feel like when you were told you got the part for Kai?
I was kind of I was shocked, honestly. Because I didn't think that I was gonna get it. And I was a little afraid, actually, a little bit, because I think I was a mod at the time, and I was a little afraid that I was being given preferential treatment. But that's obviously not the case. So yeah, I doubt myself quite a lot. So that was my. I was obviously excited because that's really, really cool, you know. But yeah, other than excitement, I was kind of just like, what? Really?
Did you give any creative input in the script?
You've had me read over a few scripts, but I don't think I gave too much input, for better or for worse.
I don't think I got a lot of input from anybody. I think most of what I wrote, I would say about 98-99% of what I wrote was just completely my stuff.
I know for a fact that you, when you wrote BB's lines, you had me look at them.
Yeah, I had you look at them to let me know, hey, do these sound good?
Yeah. So, yeah, I did kind of give input in that, and yes, they sound good. They're good.
If that's input, then that's input.
Yes.
All right. And favorite episode overall?
Favorite episode overall? It's kind of a cop-out, but I really, really like the finale.
That was the point. I wanted to make it as so good that nobody could say it wasn't their favorite episode.
It was so good. It was so good. Just speaking as a listener, it was an emotional ride for an hour. I told my family, because it was a premiere, I told my family, do not bother me for this hour. Do not touch my door. I'm busy.
Touch my door.
I'm busy right now. Cannot pause. Cannot stop. And it was great.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We have another. Oh my goodness, their fucking name. I'm not saying you have a stupid name. I'm saying this is not a name I'm going to be able to pronounce. I apologize. We have a message from Ella Konstantiuk. I'm sorry. I have no idea how to say that. I apologize. But they have, oh, wow. That's a fucking message. Oh, no, that's from somebody else. Okay. We haven't gotten to them yet. But Ella has a very, very short message. She had 2 questions. One, if you could play any other character, who would it be and why? We already discussed that was Neela.
Yep.
And you thought that you might want to try to practice a little bit before you try that kind of villainous persona. But, and then, what is your favorite moment in all of the entire series? Was it that betrayal scene? Or was it that scene where BB and Jay were able to sort of settle their differences and get
I
together?
I think it's a tie in terms of playing in Kai. I mean, obviously, I was not there for Jay and BB. So in terms of listen and being there as a listener, that was my favorite. But in terms of um, me and Kai, the betrayal scene, for sure.
We have 2 more messages in the comments, and then we have one last question from me in the interview questions document. So let's knock these out.
Okay.
These are kind of long, so let's go a bit by bit. We have a message from Jay Melick. Were there any vocally straining chapters?
Vocally straining. Yes, the hospital. Because I had to make her sound really, really weak, and I still worry that I didn't sound very believable. But it was hard to get my voice where it needed to be. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. When a chapter or video was done, do you listen to them all the way through when they're uploaded? And when you do, how do you experience it? Do you experience it with a bit of pride, self-bettering, or emotional? How do you feel?
Yes, I absolutely listen to everything because, I'm not just a voice actor, I'm also a fan. I was a fan first. Um, so yeah, it's kind of hard listening to it without critiquing myself. So I kind of do that, but there's some pride in there too because I do recognize that I do a good job. I do.
Yeah, I agree. What was the process of recording lines, and what was your experience with it?
Process of recording lines. Okay, it's very, very fabulous. I have a tiny little snowball blue microphone.
Me too.
Oh, twins! And I have kind of an open room, so it echoes a little bit. So what I do is I put myself in the doorway of my closet so that I have my clothes behind me, and I have the mic facing towards me so that I can absorb some of the sound. And if I'm recording during the summer, if I do not forget, I turn off my AC so that I don't have any of that background noise. I pull up the script on my phone. I kind of take a few minutes to kind of get into character. And then I go into it, and I usually do 2 or 3 takes of each line, which is, more than I need to do apparently, because Preston has told me that he usually takes the first take.
Most of the time.
But I will continue to do multiple takes because that is just who I am.
I need to do multiple takes. I don't do that enough.
Yeah,
I did 1 take of every single line. Every single line you guys hear is my first fucking try on that line. That's it. I'm too lazy. I'm too lazy.
you can't mess with perfection.
Hey man, don't even. Did you get sketches of your character? And if not, how do you picture that Kai looks?
Well, I know that some we've had people draw character art for Shell Crab, several people, and everyone interprets her a little bit differently. I think it was Georgie's interpretation of her that stuck with me. I haven't looked at that art piece recently.
Was that Shell Crab with the afro?
I think so. I don't know. I mean, we know.
Too.
Hmm?
I liked that one too. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I don't have necessarily a clear picture for Shell Crab in my head.
Vague representation.
Yeah. You know what? I picture Shell Crab as an actual angry crab with a knife in her hand.
How dare you betray me? Stab.
Yes.
Mess with the crab, you get the stab.
Stabby crab.
Are you? I missed a question here. Is there someone you looked for inspiration from during this project? And I think you already answered it and said no. You just got behind the mic and went ham.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Are you or would you like to be a professional voice actor?
Yeah, yeah. Am I? No, I'm not. I'm not a professional voice actor right now. The idea, I like the idea. I would love to participate in big projects, like anime or video games or something. But that is a very long road, and it's very hard to get into. So, there's a realist part of my brain that tells me that maybe I shouldn't. But just answering the question, yes, I would like to. Yes.
Me too. And here's the last part of this message. This isn't a question, but I thought you might still want to hear it.
Yeah.
Apologize if these are not the kind of questions you're looking for, or if they are hard to understand, or if they are unable to be answered or uncomfortable. This series was amazing, and everyone did amazing work. Thank you very much. We all appreciate that very much. So, but no, those questions were great. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And here is our last viewer message.
Oh.
Katakana1, who is very vocal, very active on my channel, their message says, "Hi, question, what do you like most about your character?" And I think you've answered this briefly, but what do you think?
In short, I her good qualities. I like how loyal she is. Her independence. I love her nerdiness. um, yeah. In short.
And if several questions are allowed, and if it isn't too personal, if it is, you don't have to answer. Is there something that you and your character have in common?
Is there something that me and my character have in common? Going off of the trait that I don't like about her, and it's her stubbornness. I am extremely stubborn, and it causes a lot of problems for me. So yeah, unfortunately, we have that in common. But on the flip side, I am also a huge nerd. I don't play D&D, but I would love to. I watch a D&D show called Critical Role, so I feel like I already kind of play, but I don't.
You're an expert. You know everything there is to know about it.
Exactly. So we're both stubborn nerds.
There you go. All right, we have one last question. It's from
Oh.
me, and then we're gonna wrap this up. Do you see yourself continuing to voice act in the future?
Yes, absolutely. I don't know where or when. I know that you have more projects coming up, at least one more. You've talked about it on the channel, right? It's not a secret,
Dragon
right?
Princess, yes.
Yes. Okay.
I
Yes.
even thought about do you remember that little tidbit I did of me and Dan voice acting our characters and putting the music over it? And
Yeah.
posted. I actually thought about posting that onto YouTube, like, hey, here's a preview of what to fucking expect. And I thought about that. I don't know if I'm still gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but I still might. But yeah, I'm actually quite vocal about what the next project is. So yeah, absolutely, you can talk about it.
Okay, good. So I can't remember, what you've talked about on Discord or just with me or YouTube. So I don't want to spill the beans, but we're good.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
knows. Okay. Yeah, I know that you've got auditions open right now and you've got more characters coming down the line. And I would love to be a part of it in some way.
Well, that'd be great. I would love to have you. Obviously, I already know how talented you are and how what you can bring to the table. So yeah, absolutely, I would love to see more auditions from you in the future. Because remember, how you got on board in the first place, how anyone gets on board with my stuff, is auditioning for it just like everybody else. And
Absolutely.
Kyra here was just a fan at some point who just liked my stuff, and I posted something to audition for my stuff, and she auditioned same as everybody else, and here I am talking to her for over an hour and a half now, interviewing her on how much of a good job she did, and having a bunch of people give her props and ask her questions about how she did it. She's not a professional. She wasn't trained ahead of time. So realistically, this could be you too. It could be anybody. So don't lose hope. If you really want to be a voice actor, there's always ways that you can start. And another reason why I do auditions is to give people that start. So I think that Kyra had a lot of fun doing Kai, and she got a lot of experience out of it too.
Yes. Yeah, I had no idea that I would be here when I sent in that first audition. I had no idea I would get the role. So please, if you if you think that this would be fun, if you want to voice a character, or if you think that you aren't going to be good at it, doesn't matter. Just send in the audition. You never know.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining me for such a long period of time. You really stuck it out and answered pretty much everything you could, so I really appreciate that.
Thank you for
Uh,
having me.
yeah, thank you for taking time out of your day and everything like that. So, as closing, this was Kyra, um, the first voice actor I ever had, and certainly not going to be the last, because I have a lot of people still coming up, and new people getting auditions and new people getting new parts pretty much every single time I
Yeah.
host them. So give them a shot. Join the Discord. Kyra and I are both in it and talk very regularly. So if you want to talk to us and maybe some of the other actors that I have with my stuff, feel free to join my Discord. And there's a lot of stupid shit in there. Just besides talking to us, there's dumb memes and a lot of reminders to take your medication and a lot
Yeah.
of support and love from the people in there. I like to think it's a really great place. So if you're looking for new friends, if you're looking for memes, if you're looking for dumb shit and things to do with your day, definitely join.
Please.
We'd love to meet you. All right, thank you very much, Kyra. I think that's pretty much all I can say. Do you have anything to add at the end here?
Mm, nope. I love you guys.
All right. Thank you very much, and we look forward to performing for you guys more in the future.